Hey, this is Syke from American E-Bike, and this is Miles, and today we're going to do a review on the Specialized Turbo Levo Expert versus the Comp. So we've had these bikes for 3 months now. We've put countless miles on them, and we feel that we're ready to tell you what we think. And I think one of the biggest things is looking at bang for the buck and what you get for your money. Now, as far as my research has gone and the bikes that I've ridden, I believe that Specialized does have the best e-bike on the market, and that's why we bought these. And these are our first e-bikes, and they're definitely great machines, but they do have some problems, and we're going to go over that stuff today. So, as far as the handling and the way the bike feels out on the trail, they're incredible. I love the bikes. What do you think, Miles?
I think the bike is amazing. Probably one of the best handling bikes I've ever ridden. Coming from riding Specialized my whole life, I think that this is the best handling Specialized that I have owned compared to the previous three that I've had. Going as far as components on the bike and durability and stuff, switching topics here, I think that there could have definitely been an advancement in the technology-wise, because there are rims that are breaking because you're riding a lot harder, and your whole derailleurs and your chains and stuff like to get stretched out, and you have to do a lot of maintenance on them. So I definitely think that in some aspects that technology could have been advanced, but in other places it does thrive. So it's definitely has its up and downs, just like every other bike that I've owned and ridden as well.
The thing with these bikes is that they both have the same motor and battery in them, and that's why they're very comparable. Now, the Expert has a carbon front triangle, has an upgrade in the rims, hubs, different handlebars. So has different dropper posts for the seat on these. And one of the things that we found is that the dropper post on the Expert actually is not as good as the dropper posts on the Comp. This post right here, every time, like when I'm riding with it, it's the craziest thing. Like even now, I push on it, it will not come up. So I got to reach down, grab it, and get it to pop up. Or I have to push on it, and when I'm dropping it, I can't bottom it out. I got to make sure that I don't push it all the way to the bottom of the stroke of the seat post, and then it will pop up. And I've tried different air pressures, everything inside this thing, and as you can see, even when it pops up, like now it won't pop up, and then, I mean, it really lets loose and it pops up. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but that's a real pain in the butt, where that doesn't happen on the dropper post on the Comp.
Yeah, this is an X Fusion dropper post, and it goes right up, comes right down, up, and you can even put it at different heights as well if you want it, wherever you want it. So I guess that is one better thing about the lower model of it, is it actually comes with a better seat post.
Yeah, with this one, like I said, I bottom it out, and then when it does come up, it comes up pretty violently. Like it's a real pain. I hate the seat post on this. One of the other things that we've had happen to these bikes is, for both bikes, I've already trashed out a rear rim, bent it, it wouldn't hold air, bent it pretty good. Now, the thing that was great is that I took it back to Joe's Fix-Its here in Goshen, New York, and the team of guys there, they took care of me right away. They got me brand new rims for this thing under warranty. Now, the warranties on these bikes are what really sold us on these bikes. I mean, you can take and wreck anything on these, and they will replace it. Another thing that failed on this bike was the rear cog. Teeth ripped right off the rear cog. And I have a buddy who has the exact same bike, and the exact same thing happened to his bike also. So I don't know if that's a defect in the SRAM cogs for the extra torque and pressure being put on the system with the electrical motors, but we've noticed that that's something that's happening to these bikes, because now 2 of them I know of, that's what happened. It didn't happen on this bike, but it has happened on 2 Experts. The same thing with the Comp. We had a rim bend on that, and the rim is basically trashed out on that. So the rims seem to be, I believe they're 28 spoke rims, and they're just a little, I think they were trying to save weight on these things for whatever reason, I don't know, but They don't handle, at least here in the Northeast. We're in New York. It's very rocky and rooty, steep downhills. We're in the Catskill Mountains, and the terrain we ride is pretty brutal. So the bikes do take a beating, and they're not holding up to what we're doing. And that's something that I'm going to upgrade.
So I plan on keeping it completely bone stock so I can get that lifetime warranty. I'm going to abuse it as much as I can, but if I were to change it, I definitely would, because there are issues with the bike, like he said. As I said before earlier, that the technology has not advanced at all when it comes to the drivetrain, which I found to be the biggest problem right away. Because right when you get it, and for the first few rides, it shifts all weird, and throughout your rides you're constantly touching it because you're putting so much pressure and torque on it that it makes it a big issue. But I guess once you start riding more and getting into it and kind of worn in, it does get better. But as you can see on his bike, that he had to completely change the cog set, which was an issue. But I think that there's definitely changes that could be made to the bike for future models that they definitely need to look into and do some testing more. But overall, I think the bike is definitely rideable and really enjoyable. Coming from a big lug machine or even a cross-country bike, is around here in this area, it's so hard to find that perfect in between. So I think definitely it's definitely a good fit for around here, but technology definitely could be advanced more. I think overall is my biggest outcome on the bike so far.
One of the other things that I've noticed on this bike, and Miles has mentioned it, as we're riding, one of the things that gets really sore and tired is your hands. I don't know why. It may be because we're going faster. You need more body English and holding on the bars a lot tighter with the extra weight of the bike. I'm not sure why, but your hands get so tired when you're riding these bikes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the Spike fiber core bars with a dual density hand grip and see if that helps out with your hands. When we get riding, about 30 minutes into a ride, you're not stopping because your legs are tired or you're out of wind, because the motor does help out a lot. It comes down to your hand. You just got to shake your hands out and take a break for your hands because your hands get fatigued. And we have a lot of experience with motocross. We ride motocross. I've been riding motocross since 1978, and we go to tracks all the time, so I understand arm pump and how to stay loose on the bars and not ride with my hands and ride with my legs. But still, even with that, I find a lot of hand fatigue riding these bikes.
Yeah, like I said, you have to use a lot more body English on the bike. You have to be way more in control on the bike because you're going twice the speed. Before, you could average around here 7-8 miles an hour for an hour 45-minute ride. It's rough, but now you're average 13-14 miles an hour through single track trails and going uphill and stuff. So it's definitely more tired on your upper body because, like you said, you have to use more body English, and it's just a lot more rough. You're going over stuff that you didn't go over before because you were tired and trying to look your way around some stuff that you wouldn't do before. So you're definitely doing a lot more on the bike, so it's definitely more fatiguing. I would say I don't really get tired in the legs or really get winded that much. It's more just my arms, like my forearms and my hands, I have to like stop and shake it out. Like, that's probably the most important thing for me, because I feel like if I keep continuing to ride like that, you can go down and get seriously hurt on these things because you are going really fast.
I think
Oh, yeah.
between